Growing an Instagram account fast is one thing, but growing it with quality, engaged followers, that's a different story. Today, I'm sitting down with my son, who happens to have cracked the code on building a loyal audience of engaged followers. So if you're tired of posting into the void and you want strategies that work, stick around. You won't want to miss this.
Baby, can't you hear my call? I can't stand.
All right, welcome to the studio, Tait. This is so fun to be in our new podcast studio, and I am so excited to sit down and really dive into all the things you've learned and done with your Instagram account. So I have a whole bunch of questions I want to ask you, and you just fire away what you know about these things.
Sure thing.
First of all, can you share a bit about yourself and what your Instagram account is about?
Sure. My name is Tait Salmons, and I run the Instagram account Nat King Crosby, where I just post about mainly old Hollywood / vintage styles and singing videos, music, movies, doesn't matter. Just anything that I find interest in pertaining to vintage styles. And yeah, that's about it.
What was your follower count when you first started taking your growth seriously, and where is it now?
I was stuck at, I started it in November of 23, right around Thanksgiving. And I was at about 12 followers for the first year.
Wow.
It was kind of pathetic, I'll be honest with you. I tried my best, I tried my darndest, and I got some accounts that I really admired, who I sort of based my account on, to notice me, but nothing came out of it for the first year. And now I'm at over 1,300 followers, and in the last few months that's happened, and so it's gone pretty well.
Nice. So what was the key moment or strategy that accelerated your growth the most?
A lot of people aren't going to like this answer because, it's not the follow-unfollow method, where you follow someone and if they follow you back, you keep them on as a follower, but if they don't follow you, then you unfollow them. But it's the method where you find other people in your niche and you follow them to sort of get in a tight-knit community, as it were. Because Instagram is about, if you want to form good connections with people and gain good followers who are going to be loyal to your looking at your stuff and commenting and interacting with it, then you're going to want to follow them first and foremost, because they're not going to know who you are if you don't.
So you kind of maybe said this already, but how long did it take you to start seeing that real traction, and what did the journey look like?
Well, after I figured out what to do, it took me about 5 minutes to, it's been a long road so far, I guess. But after I started following people, I noticed traction immediately. After I started interacting with other people on there.
Okay. What type of content performs best for your audience, and how did you figure that out?
Well, I've asked this on my stories before, and they say one thing, but I can see it's another thing. That they said they like my singing videos and my music videos the most, but I would say what performs best are my memes that I make, and probably memes, I would say. They perform the best because most of the people who follow me and who I follow are young. They're even younger than me, most of them.
Do you have a specific content formula that you use to post and that you swear by?
No, I just try different things. And I'm still looking for the perfect formula. But so far, Reels do pretty well. So I usually stick to those.
And how do you keep your audience engaged and interacting with your content?
Well, I'm trying to get better at responding to comments immediately, or at least within the first day. And I also make sure to post consistently, because when you don't post consistently, they don't know when to expect you. So I try to post as often as I possibly can. So every day.
Nice. What's the most surprising thing you learned about your audience while growing your account?
I thought when I was just starting out and I had just gotten my followers, when I started getting a whole bunch of followers from the follow method that I thought it would taper off and stop eventually, but it hasn't stopped so far. And that surprised me. I thought I would just be old news in 5 minutes. But no, people actually stuck around. So I'm very pleased.
Nice. I was thinking old news. Well, that is what your account's about, right?
It is.
How do you ensure you attract quality followers? This is like a really hard one for people, rather than just vanity metrics.
Well, it's a combination of following people in your niche and talking with them a lot. I talk with a lot of people on the daily on Instagram. Probably when I wake up and I see the notifications on Instagram, or when I look at it for the first time for the day, there are a good sometimes 20 different conversations going at once that I haven't checked on. Don't go for numbers. You go for interaction. You want to make sure that they're actually interacting with the content and not just following you to follow you, never looking at your stuff. Because you could have 1 million followers and none of them will interact with your stuff. Because I've seen accounts, they have a few 100,000 followers and they're only getting maybe 100 likes on each post, which is ridiculously bad for an account that size. It has to be proportionate to your actual following, your amount of engagement. If you engage with people a lot, then they'll engage with you.
And how do you deal with ghost followers or inactive accounts then?
You just take it as it goes. You don't let it get you down. If you see that you've gained 3 followers and you've lost 4, like it'll happen. Things like that'll happen. There'll be slow periods. I know I'm going through a slow period right now because it's been kind of slow in March so far. But you just have to keep going and keep being consistent with it and don't let it get you down, because if you do that, then for sure it'll fail.
Okay, this is this next question is kind of interesting because I have been experimenting with this. Do you remove followers that you know are not really engaging with you to help improve your engagement? And if so, what was the result?
I don't really bother with that. I only remove them if they're creepy or I just don't like them or something like that. But no, I haven't really experimented with that.
Okay. Do you have a hashtag strategy? And if you do, how has it evolved over time?
I suppose so. I used to put 10 to 15 hashtags each post, and now I only do 5 because I've heard that 5 or less works the best. But I also do try and use hashtags in my niche that might be smaller hashtags, as well as bigger hashtags like hashtag reels or hashtag FYP for you page that are usually a lot bigger than hashtag golden age of Hollywood or hashtag Jimmy Stewart, things like that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I do.
Do you use Instagram SEO strategies to get discovered in search? Do you know what that means?
I know what SEO strategies are, but what would these strategies
Meaning
be?
you would put specific words in your captions and maybe even on maybe saying it with your voice in the reel. Do you use any of those strategies to gain people's attention when they're looking for those different words?
I can't say that I have, but I have tried to do as much as I can to get good audience retention, as in, because I've heard that if you do something snappy in the first second of a reel, like a good hook, it gets their focus on you. And I've tried that kind of stuff, but I haven't tried any of those words or special words or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. And this is another one for the same idea here for discoverability. How important are trending sounds or topics in your growth strategy?
They have no bearing at all. Because if they did have any bearing, then I would use them. But when it comes to old music and old Hollywood and vintage styles, you can't use any trending audios because none of the stuff that we like in the old Hollywood community and vintage community on Instagram, none of them, we don't use any of them because none of that's old music.
That's actually smart. You're sticking true to the brand, so I can see why. Here's one that I've noticed that you do a lot on your account about collaborations and community building. What have you done to use those strategies?
Well, if I see a post or if I try and make a post that I think a certain account will like, then I add them as a collaborator. Sometimes I do that. And I know people have done that for a lot of my posts as well. And it just gets your post on their page immediately. And it does bring in some more views to your account and your post. And as well as that, I do lives with some of these accounts, bigger accounts. There's one guy that he's my friend. He's the one who inspired me to start this whole account. His username is Benny Goodman is God. Manny, his name's Manny, and I do lives with him all the time.
Nice.
He's got about 17,000 followers, and so it's pretty helpful, and it's also just nice chatting, you know.
Community building for sure.
Definitely.
So it sounds like you've built some really strong relationships with your followers, and you've not only turned them into loyal fans, but also friends.
I have.
That's pretty awesome. It's a good outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any one engagement hack that has worked surprisingly well for you?
Not a single one. I guess responding quickly and not ignoring people, ignoring your followers, as well as following people in your niche and just engaging with the community. I guess that would be one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what about the Instagram algorithm? This is like the big swear word in Instagram world. Trying to make it work in your favor. Do you worry about that, or how do you approach that?
I worry about it, but I can't really figure it out. It's a mystery to me. But I just try and do what I think will work. And sometimes it does. You know, I try and get creative as often as I can, just to see what people will go for. And if they do like that, then I'll keep doing it. But I don't really pay attention to the algorithm or anything like that.
Okay. Have you had any posts go viral?
I have. I have had at least two posts go viral. One went marginally viral, which was a post about how it was a post where I have a series where I do old Hollywood stories. Like, it's called 30-Second Hollywood. It's a series of reels that I did, and I might do more of. But one of them was about Bing Crosby and how his son Gary was a lying jerk, and he wrecked his reputation and his legacy 6 years after he died. And that one got quite a bit of viewership, probably about 2,500 likes, maybe 1,000, maybe more than that, 1,500 likes, something like that. And a whole bunch of comments, good and bad, because people are uneducated. They don't really know these things,
right,
which is why I'm doing it. So I don't know why they're posting comments like that, but that was one of them. And the one that went really, really viral, for me at least, was a post about, it took me about 5 minutes, and I almost didn't post it because I was like, I don't think people are going to like this, but they did. And it was a post about this scene from the Muppet movie from 1979, I think. It was Bob Hope, just a cameo of Bob Hope, because he's big in the old Hollywood. He was very big in old Hollywood. Very funny guy, great actor. And I just didn't think it would do anything, and it's gotten probably near 10,000 likes now. So
wow, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so speaking of the opposite side, how do you revive engagement when a post flops?
I just keep going. I just don't really pay attention to that particular post. I don't let it get me down. I just keep posting. Just keep posting, and something will turn up later. It'll get better. You just got to keep being consistent with it, because if you're not consistent, then, like I said, you'll fail without a doubt.
Okay. So here's a category about advice for others. This is hopefully, if you've stuck around, you want to know what you can do for your own account. Maybe you can give some light on how they can help their accounts. If you had to start over with 0 followers, what would you do differently?
Well, so far in my journey, I don't think I would do anything differently from what I'm doing now, but I guess I would try and be more consistent with my page, as in not go crazy into a whole bunch of different post styles, and just to keep people, let them come back knowing that this is what the page is going to be about, what's going to be on the page. I suppose I'd change that if I could.
Nice. That's all about branding, and
Branding,
you're doing it right in your account. What's the best piece of advice you could give someone struggling to grow their account?
Engage with the community. Engage with your followers. Engage with people who you want to follow. Message people out of the blue. That's a big one, because that's how I've gotten to meet and talk with some incredible people. For example, I've had the absolute pleasure of talking with Bing Crosby's grandson on my Instagram account, and he's seen my stuff. And it's just an absolute pleasure when big people like that talk with you and engage with your stuff and your content. But yeah, engagement and just reaching out first, because people are not going to reach out to you they're not going to reach out to you. So just reach out and talk with people and form a sort of community, because people like community, and it's probably one of the most important aspects.
Right. Sounds good. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to give us some insights and shed some light on how we can grow our own Instagram accounts and our brands. It's been really it's been fun watching you grow your account.
Well, thank you.
I'm definitely your number one fan, though. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.